Yo guys, it's Cozmos here, and in today's video, I'm going to be covering the top 5 most important tips for beginners switching to keyboard and mouse in Fortnite Chapter 3. This tutorial is perfect for anyone whether you're using a keyboard and mouse on console or on PC, so with that being said, let's get right into it. And the first tip we have is something that is incredibly important, especially to those of you who are just starting out and might be a little scared to put all of your effort into making the switch. The tip I'm going to mention is that progression is going to take time, and you need to expect that. You can't go into this thinking you're going to become the next Booga or Clicks in one day, because let's be honest here, that just isn't going to happen. So just go easy on yourself and take it slow. As a beginner, I know you're going to be tempted to switch back and forth between controller and keyboard and mouse when you get killed in game, because trust me guys, I've been there. You're going to need some self-discipline to not do this. This is because it's only going to slow your progression down in the long run. Instead of switching back to controller when you get frustrated, maybe take a 5 to 10 minute break, get a drink of water, maybe get a snack, and then go at it again. Remember, it's just Fortnite and it isn't the end of the world. Remember that practice makes perfect, and just don't beat yourself up over losing some games, because it's going to happen. Maybe a lot more than you want it to, but listen, you're going to improve. Just stick with it, be patient, and I promise you the results will come. The second tip I have is to not worry about which keyboard and mouse you're using as a beginner. When I was a beginner player, I started off on some cheap $5 Walmart keyboard and a $5 Walmart mouse, and yes, they both sucked, but that's what I had to work with at the time, and that's what I used for at least a month into my progression. I finally decided to purchase my first $30 mechanical keyboard and the cheapest mouse that I could get, only after I knew I was gonna 100% commit to making the switch. It just isn't worth your money to even buy a $30 keyboard if you don't think you're gonna stick with the switch. So I say that only when you're 100% sure that you want to make the switch, then you should go ahead and purchase at least a mechanical keyboard, because they're so much more comfortable for gaming and you're definitely going to love it. The third tip I have is to make sure you're putting yourself in uncomfortable situations. What it means is directly putting yourself in uncomfortable situations, such as taking as many fights as possible and pushing as many people as you see. You do this so that it helps you to become more calm and confident when taking fights and when you're in stressful situations. Another example of making yourself uncomfortable could be something as simple as hot dropping every game, and sure, you're going to die a lot, but at the end of the day, this is about getting knowledge and skills you otherwise wouldn't have if you just sat in a bush all game. By doing one or all of these things, it's going to help you improve so much faster than if you just camped or sat in a bush all game. Take as many fights as possible and really put yourself out of your comfort zone, because that is a surefire way to improve as fast as humanly possible. The fourth tip I have is to not worry about which keybinds you're using as a beginner player, and that's for a couple reasons. For starters, keybinds are totally subjective, and what binds work for one person may not work for the next person, and please don't go around copying your favorite pro's keybinds because you think they'll magically turn you into a pro. Just find a set of keybinds that you think are nice and stick to them until you become a more established keyboard and mouse player. The reason you shouldn't switch keybinds so often in the beginning is because it's only going to make your progression harder, because you're constantly needing to relearn how to play the game, which will literally be setting you back to square one. So find some keybinds you feel comfortable with and keep them, and only change them when you're more established as a player, because they'll be a lot easier to learn, and that's because you're going to have the basic knowledge of how to use a keyboard and mouse, which will in turn make keybinds much easier to get used to. Our fifth and final tip is to ensure you enjoy the process of progression. As people say, time flies when you're having fun, and to make your progression as enjoyable as possible, you need to learn how to have fun while you're trying to improve. When I was first starting out, the best way that I found to have fun was to hop into some creative fills with a bunch of random people who are usually at a pretty low skill level. This makes it the perfect environment for you, because it allows you to just hop into a creative and go to town. It helps you improve editing, aiming, and mechanics, all while having some fun. So the next time you find yourself frustrated or looking for some fun ways to spice up your progression, load up some creative and have a good time. And that's gonna wrap it up for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and if you did, drop a like and subscribe, because it would be greatly appreciated. And please use code Cozmos in the Fortnite item shop if you want to support me further. And with all that being said, I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you all in the next one.